Hey, good morning, everybody. How you doing today? I hope you're having a great day. It's Wednesday, June 2nd. And I hope and I pray that you woke up this morning with a new song on your lips and a praise in your heart. I want to ask you a question today. What are your goals? What are your goals? What are your aspirations and your hopes for your life, for your family, for your future? Good morning, Sharon. Glad you're joining me on here today. May you be blessed beyond measure. So what are our goals? You know, I found in life it's important for us to have goals. But not just to have goals, because a plan is just a plan, or a goal is just a goal, unless you put a plan to it, unless you actually put feet to it and work it out. You know, we've all probably had goals in our lives at one point. Maybe you had a goal to go to college and get a degree, and you had to work hard for it. You had to study, you had to prepare, you had to take tests, you had to show up for class, right? Even those early classes. Maybe you had a goal to have a family, to get married, have a family, raise a family. And there were steps you had to take to get there. You first had to date. You had to find somebody who you fell in love with, and then ask them to marry you or get asked to be married. And all of those things had to happen in order for that goal to be reached. And I got to thinking about it this morning because I'm a goal type person. If I have a dream and a goal, I want to do what I can to put feet to it and make it happen. When I was 39, almost 40, when I decided that I wanted to become a runner. And so I started a little bit late in life running, but I decided I wanted to run. And that was a goal of mine, to become a runner. And y'all, I got to tell you, the first time I tried running, I got probably 100 yards down the road and I thought my lungs had collapsed. I thought I was going to throw up and pass out. And it was horrible. It was horrible. And I thought to myself, why do I want to be a runner? But that goal was there. That desire was there. And so I just kept doing it day after day after day. I got better. I learned things. I grew in my understanding of running. When I first started running, I was running in just an old pair of Nike Shock tennis shoes that I had that were not even running shoes. And I had to learn what's the proper shoes to wear, what's the proper technique, how do I stay hydrated, all of these things. I had to make a plan to reach my goal. And eventually I ran a couple marathons and have run a lot over the last few years. I've become what I would call a runner. And, you know, we all have goals for our life, but what are some of, let me make it a little more detailed here. What are some of your spiritual goals for your life? Because you see, there are a lot of people who have never really moved forward in their walk with God. They're still stuck in the infant stage, and they don't plan for their growth in their walk with God. They don't make any plans or try to make any way that they're going to grow. They have no goal for their walk with God. They're happy just to be saved. But the truth is, God works on us every day. You see, when I first became a Christian, I was raised in a church home. I was raised to go to church every time the doors were open. But until it became a personal thing for me, and I really, truly gave my heart and life to Jesus Christ, to me, it was just this abstract concept of God that my parents had put into me until it became a reality in my life. And then it wasn't just about, well, thank you, God, for saving me. It's about, God, what is your plan for my life? What is your goal for my life? What is your calling on my life? See, I believe that we have to have spiritual goals, and those things work out in our lives by the plans that we make, by our daily devotionals, our daily times of prayer, our listening for the voice of God, our growing in our relationship with God. I understand so much more about the moving and the working of the Spirit of God in my life today than I did when I first started. Why? Because just like running, I went through the processes of growing in my walk with God, and I set goals for myself. If your walk with God is no further along today than it was this time last year, that's not God's fault. God has made every provision for you to grow in your walk with him. That's your fault. That's my fault. So what are some of the goals that you have? We need to have it as a goal every day to draw closer to Jesus Christ, to become more like Jesus Christ every single day. Because when we do that, we can, with the Apostle Paul, like he said at the end of his life, I have fought a good fight. I have finished my race. I have kept the faith. You see, he had a goal. He had a plan. He had a calling on his life. You have a calling on your life. Are you growing in that calling? Are you growing in that ministry? But even beyond that, are you growing in your personal relationship with Jesus Christ? If you're not, take the time today to get into his word. Take the time today to pray and ask God to give you a goal, to give you a vision, to give you a dream for what he wants to do in your life. And then pursue that with all of your heart and soul and strength. Don't be content to just sit down on a pew and wait for Jesus to come. That's not what we're called to do. We're called to go into the world and teach disciples. We're called to go into the world and speak Jesus. We're called to grow and become mature in our walk with God. So today, I encourage you to do that. Follow after him with all your heart, all your soul, all your strength. Set a goal for your spiritual life, even if you write it down. I know there are a lot of people who keep daily journals or prayer journals. Write down, this is my goal. By this time next month or next year, I want to be on a whole different level in my walk with God than I am right now. Whatever that looks like for you, write it down. Because many times when we write down our goals, they become more alive to us, become more real to us. So write down your spiritual goals. Write it down. And let it sit in your heart. Let it marinate in your spirit. And then make a plan of how you're going to reach that. I love you today. Join us tonight at Crossroads if you're in the area. It is the first Wednesday night of the month. And so it is our prayer service night. We're going to be praying over some specific things. And so come on out and join us. Spend a few minutes in prayer with us. And I know that God will bless you. Take care of yourselves and God bless.